NASA's $125 million mistake. Now imagine this, a single mistake costs $125 million. And the person responsible isn't just anyone. It's NASA. And here's the craziest part. No rocket exploded. The spacecraft didn't malfunction. There wasn't some mysterious event on Mars. Everything looked absolutely perfect. In 1998, NASA launched a spacecraft called Mars Climate Orbiter. Its mission was incredibly important. It would study Mars' atmosphere and collect valuable data for future missions. The launch was a success. All systems were operating normally. The engineers finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then, days passed, weeks passed, months passed. For 9 full months, the spacecraft traveled millions of kilometers through the silent emptiness of space. Every status report looked good. Everything was going exactly as planned. Only one final step remained, entering Mars' orbit. And that's where the story turned into a horror movie. The spacecraft disappeared behind Mars. At that moment, losing communication was completely expected. Everyone in mission control waited calmly. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It'll come back any second. Didn't. As the minutes dragged on, the conversations in the room slowly faded. The expressions on everyone's faces began to change. No one wanted to say it out loud, but everyone was thinking the same thing. I think we lost it. And they had. $125 million. 9 months of work. Gone. In an instant. So, what went wrong? Did the engine fail? No. Did the software crash? No. Did something unexpected happen on Mars? No. The reason is almost impossible to believe. Meters and feet. Yep, that's it. One engineering team performed its calculations using the metric system. Another team produced navigation data using the imperial system. Both teams assumed their calculations were correct. But no one realized. The numbers weren't speaking the same language. That tiny mismatch slowly pushed the spacecraft off course. So small that no one noticed. But after 9 months, the error had grown large enough to become fatal. Instead of entering Mars' orbit safely, the spacecraft entered the atmosphere far lower than intended. It most likely burned up in the Martian atmosphere, or lost control completely, and it was never heard from again. Just think about it. Hundreds of engineers, years of work, millions of lines of code, months of preparation, a 9-month journey across deep space. And the thing that destroyed all of it wasn't an asteroid, wasn't an engine failure, wasn't a fuel problem. It was simply 2 different measurement systems that couldn't understand each other. Knight Capital's $440 million mistake. August 1, 2012. It started as an ordinary morning in New York. But nobody knew. The next 45 minutes would become one of the most expensive software failures in financial history. Knight Capital was one of the biggest firms on Wall Street. They handled billions of dollars in stock trades every single day. So they couldn't afford mistakes. That morning, they were about to deploy a new software update. The goal was simple. Make trading faster and more efficient. Everything had been tested. Or, at least that's what they thought. At exactly 9:30 a.m., the New York Stock Exchange opened. For the first few seconds, everything looked normal. Then, the screens went crazy. Buy and sell orders that nobody had placed started flooding the system. The computers began buying and selling stocks on their own. Thousands of trades every second. Panic spread across the office. The phones wouldn't stop ringing. Everyone was asking the same question. What's happening? As the minutes passed, the losses kept growing. 10 minutes, then 20, then 30, but no one could stop the system. The computers just kept trading. Finally, after about 45 minutes, the engineers managed to shut the system down completely. But it was already too late. In just 45 minutes, the company had lost around $440 million. One morning, one software update, and one of Wall Street's biggest firms was on the verge of collapse. So what caused it? A hacker? No. A massive cyber attack? Not that either. The real reason was much simpler. The company had 8 servers. The new software was supposed to be installed on all 8. But the technical team forgot to update one of them. 7 servers were running the new code. One was still running the old code. That old code accidentally reactivated a testing system that had been written years earlier and was no longer supposed to be used. The computers started placing real trades with real money in the real market. Every second, the company lost even more money. And all of it happened because just 1 out of 8 servers hadn't been updated. 7 servers worked perfectly. 1 didn't. And that single server cost Knight Capital $440 million. Sometimes, all it takes is one forgotten software update.